Hey folks, well we're at it again up here in the mountains on this absolutely beautiful spring day on the search for the ruins of an old home hidden somewhere among these trees. Now the landowner who invited us today has some pretty good information on the original inhabitant, which we'll talk more about once we arrive. Now I'm not entirely sure how much further I have to walk. I was told to travel this old road, and then we'll hit a stream to follow the stream, and then you can't miss it. We'll see. Well, as you can probably hear behind me, I've been following the stream, and we just came upon a structure that is not the home, but is somewhat related. It's pretty impressive. Take a look at this. That is the remains of an old kiln. Now, these are not uncommon in the mountains of Vermont, especially this mountain, but this was used to process cut logs into charcoal to be used, to build America in the Industrial Revolution. And I say that it's somewhat related because the landowner has some census paperwork for the person that used to live up here. According to that, his occupation was a kiln hand or a furnace hand. He was up here throwing the logs into the kiln. Pretty incredible. Let's keep going. Well, the landowner was correct. This is pretty hard to miss. A beautiful old stone-lined foundation of a home from 100, 150 years ago. Now, taking a look around just at first glance, it's pretty obvious this place was not a farm. There are very few stone walls. The ground here is very hilly and uneven, not very suitable for growing crops. And that makes a lot of sense given what the landowner told us about his profession. As I mentioned, he worked the kilns all over this mountain. So this place would have just been a homestead, a place for him to sleep at night, maybe have a small vegetable garden, and let's find out if maybe he dropped a few things over the years. All right, well, we just got our very first find. It wasn't very deep, and it is a good sign. It isn't much, it's just a twisted up old suspender clasp, one of the many parts of a suspender rig, but it's something. Optimistic here. See what else we can find. Well, I just got a pretty good target. Thought it was going to be a button. I pulled it out, and it's a piece of brass. It appears to be broken, and as I was pulling it out, I thought that it was going to be like a piece of a utensil handle. Let's see if I can get some better light here. But I flipped this over, and there appears to be text. Looks like a big N. I'm wondering if this is a piece of a firearm, just because of how heavy the brass is. I don't know. Let's get that text cleaned up, see what it says. Alright, well, I'm not sure. I see an NO, which I think is number, and then a super crude 31. I don't know what that would pertain to. I'm wondering now if maybe it's a farm tool. That would probably make more sense. Number 31, something or other. Let me know what you think. Whatever it is, I had a second nail here. It was number 31. Alright, this is one of the highest, sharpest tones I've ever had on this machine. I don't know if you can hear that through my headphones. But we're going to use this. Seems like it's fairly shallow. So whatever it is, we don't hit it. I'm hoping it's a coin, but, you never know. Oh, yes. Of course it is. This, people who've been watching my channel for any length of time probably recognize this thing. My nemesis, my arch enemy, the scythe nib. I can't tell you how many live digs I've done to find these things. This is a piece of hardware that there was a handle on this part of it like this. This went up against the shaft of a scythe, a grass cutting tool, a Grim Reaper tool. another one. I'll throw it in my bucket full of nib blocks. Well, I just found a minute ago what I thought was maybe part of a bracelet or something. It's got beads, and you know, closed up the hole, rechecked, and there was something else in there. And check it out. It's a little brass tag with chains. 50. It's on the back. I don't know, man. That's gonna require a bit more research. There's swords, a bust, and a thing at the bottom, which kind of looks like a plow or something. Yeah, a little 50. It looks like money. Is that a dollar bill? Or a $50 bill? It's so weird, but interesting. I don't know. Let me know what you think. Let's see if there's anything else in the hole, and move on here. Well, I kind of find myself talking about this week after week, but they're pretty hard to ignore. The black flies have had their hatch, and now it's time for the mosquitoes to take their turn. You know, I'm kind of reminded of something. I'll share a quick story. My father's side of the family were all great hunters and fishermen. And their father, my grandfather specifically, he put food on the dinner table any way he could. They probably ate trout and deer 3 or 4 nights of the week growing up. He passed on early in my life, but one of the strongest memory I have of him is that he always smelled of Vicks Vapor Rub. And I never really thought much of it, except whenever I smell Vicks, I think of my grandpa. Then I started doing this, and we find a lot of Vicks Vapor Rub jars from the early 1900s, late 1800s. And it just kind of struck me. I asked my aunt, one of his daughters, what was that all about? And she said he used it for bug spray. He used it to make mosquitoes and black flies leave him alone. You know, I wonder, people who lived back then, they didn't have DEET spray. Were they using the Vicks Vapor Rub for muscle aches, or were they using it for insect repellent? I'm not sure we'll ever be able to figure that out, but it's an interesting thought. Makes me kind of want to try it. I'm wearing DEET today, not really working. Let's see what else we can find. Well, I believe we got a coin. I don't remember the last time I found a large cent. It appears we have another small cent. You know, we have to assume it's an Indian head penny. Let me rub it on my pants. Yeah, looks like it's cleaning up good. I don't know, I rubbed it on my pants. It looks like maybe there's an 80 something at the end there. 1888, 1886, something like that. We'll get it cleaned up better at home, but man, it's bright here. There we go. 1 cent. Indian head penny. It's been a bit slow today, so I will take this happily. See if we can find another one. Okay, we have here a very common find up here in the mountains, Vermont. It is an oxen shoe. An oxen, of course, being, you know, a cow or a bull trained for draft work. And I usually don't show them. I usually find a few every time out. But this one in particular has this drop point right here, which is not something I've ever seen before. For folks who are unfamiliar with oxen shoes, it doesn't look anything like a horseshoe because a cow's foot has, you know, a cloven hoof, unlike a horse, which has obviously a hoof. So there would have been 2 of these on the bottom of the cow's foot. Interesting variation, not one I've seen before, but that was kind of interesting. Still has some of the square nails bent over in there. Pretty cool. Alright, I just got something pretty interesting. Get my water out because it's like this little tin. I thought it was like a little junky medicine tin. You can see from this side. But the more I looked at it, look at that, it has a hinge, which is still intact. And I flipped it over, I don't know if you can make that out, but there's a whole bunch of stuff on there, designs. Let's see if I can maybe just knock some of the dirt off here. Yeah. A Oh my gosh. Look at that. Is that Poseidon? What is Poseidon doing on a little tin in the mountains of Vermont? Well, I guess it's appropriate we spray him down with some water. What do you think? Open it up? Nah, I think we'll keep it closed and just continue to wonder what's inside. Just kidding, we'll open it. Go real easy. Well, it does not appear as though there's anything in here. And that is fine by me. That thing is awesome. That's one of the coolest things I found in a while. Wish there was a gold coin inside, but the tin itself is pretty awesome. You know, it's been somewhat of a slow day. We haven't really found anything particularly exciting or valuable in the ground today. You know, that kind of makes sense for the person that lived here. He probably didn't make it into town too often, have a lot of coins in his pocket to drop into the ground. But that makes this tin kind of particularly interesting and exciting. I can't speak for him, you know, he lived 100, 150 years ago, but that more than likely was a precious item for him. What he kept in it, who knows? Unfortunately, he lost it and we found it, and it's a pretty cool piece. Let's keep going. Foundation is right there. Look. I think that's the rest of it. Woodpecker. That's exactly what it is. It's the rest of it. Interesting. Well, I was wondering what was on the other side, and it's just a mirrored image. And all we have for text is number 31. There's nothing on this side, so I don't know. You guys let me know. Is that a side plate to a musket, or is it, you know, the top of a hand plane? Or, you know, our mind always goes to the coolest thing. Side plate to a musket would be great, but it's an awfully big square nail to go into the stock of a gun, so I'm gonna have to suspect that it's a tool of some kind. Number 31. Pretty cool. Anyway, we got the whole thing. All right, we got a pretty cool find here. I'm not sure what it is exactly. I just saw this and I thought that it was a piece of pocket watch. Wasn't going to film it. I kind of started rubbing it, and I noticed on this side there appears to have been a reed, similar to the harmonica reed plates that we find all the time. So this thing would have made noise, and then I rechecked the hole and I found the rest of it. Check this out. It looks like there was only, oh no, I guess that isn't all of it. There would have been another piece. How does this go? Like this? Yeah, so it looks like there would have been 4 different notes. I don't know, is this like a animal call of some kind? A 150-year-old turkey call, or a wounded animal call? Let me know what you think. It would have had 1, 2, 3, 4 different notes, possibly all happening at the same time. I'll recheck, see if we can find that last piece, but thought that was kind of cool. Alright, and I think we have Indian head penny number 2. This one, I already wiped it because I thought it was a button, but it appears to be, make that out, 1893. Awesome. Just about what we thought we were going to find here, turn of the century. Looks like it's going to clean up real nice once we get some of that clay off there. Real nice dark patina that looks mostly intact. Nice. A couple of Indian head pennies today. You know what? Let's try to end today on a high note, since it has been so slow. Get everything out and see what we found today. Alright folks, calling it quits. I can't take it anymore. The bugs are insane. It's actually quite hot out today, but I don't want to take my hoodie off because I don't want my arms to get eaten up. So we're going to head on out of here. I got all my stuff that we found today laid out. Let's take a look at it all. Alright, let's see. Starting with the things I don't think I showed you, I did get a giant iron spoon. This is a collection of 3 rivets that are all in one piece of leather. You know, I have to assume that was on a saddle or something like that. A little iron buckle, piece of oil lamp, what I think might be a giant pencil. I'm not sure if this is period or not, but that's what it reminded me of when I first saw it. And we got a little, what appears to be lead or pewter drawer pull here. And now the things that you have seen, we have our really interestingly shaped oxen shoe. Perhaps this ox had an issue with its foot, and the blacksmith made it special for it. I'm not quite sure. We have our number 31 brass plate of some kind, whether it was on a firearm or a tool. We have our circular reed of some kind, perhaps an animal call, perhaps some musical instrument that I'm unaware of. 2 pieces of suspender. I actually did find the other piece not too far away. My arch nemesis, the nib block. These always sound like coins, and it always gets me excited, and it's always a nib block. We have our Poseidon stabbing a giant whale of some kind or fish. I assume it's a match case or maybe a cigarette case. Maybe it's even a snuff tin. We have 2 Indian head pennies and the very interesting charm, I guess. We have a 50 on the front and on the back. Let's do it this way. Looks like a sword, 2 swords, a bust of a man facing left, maybe, and what appears to be an axe and something else. So, I don't know. It's a weird one. You guys let me know what you think. So, not a ton of valuable things today, but, taking into consideration the person that lived here, their occupation, and the role they played in the history of this mountain, that's what fits. For me, finding the connection between the things and the person that dropped them, that's what I find exciting, and hopefully you do too. Thanks again for watching. Hopefully next time we're up here, the bugs will have died down a little bit and we could stay out longer, or maybe I'll try out that Vicks Vapor Rub. See you next time.